So the rules of thumb are don't work with kids, don't work with animals, and don't work with water, right? And we did all three. So we broke all the rules, and it was not easy, but
It is a pleasure today to be speaking with Jonathan Lim, one of the producers and financiers of My Penguin Friend. Jonathan, thank you so much for the time. It's a joy to speak with you.
oh, Steve, likewise, and beautiful background. I love that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. This is just I'm very lucky to have the backyard like this. Is very
With
blessed. Um, my penguin friend is so wonderful. It is so
oh,
adorable, so sweet. Why did you want to help bring this story to life?
I love penguins and I love true stories. And when you put those together and you could tell a story that is inspiring and uplifting, well, I'm in. So, My Penguin Friend was based on a true story of a Brazilian fisherman that came across an Argentinian penguin covered in oil, and he nursed him back to health. And then they bonded and forged this amazing friendship where the penguin literally swam thousands of miles every year for 8 years to visit his Brazilian fisherman friend in a remote Brazilian uh, fishing village. Now, you can't make that up. That blew up on social media in 2016, 2017. And then when we came across the script, this was a few years ago. It wasn't quite ready for prime time, but you could see the essence of the story, which was really just inspiring and uplifting. And then after 20 rewrites, it was where we wanted it. We were able to cast Jean Reno, and then voila, that's the movie that you saw.
I wondered about the casting of Jean because it is like this is such a unique role for him, and we've seen him so many like. What was it like working with him and as he brought this gentleman to life? Did they meet the actual gentleman and work together? And
Well, so Jean didn't meet the fisherman prior to the shoot, but he is a true professional, so pardon the pun. And so, I really just love Jean from The Professional, Leon the Professional, where he was in that movie with Natalie Portman, and some of the same elements that made his performance so special from that movie also carried through. It was reminiscent of his performance here with My Penguin Friend, and to see him, and he actually invested the time about a week or two before principal photography to spend time with the penguin trainers and with the real penguins to bond with them and know how to handle them, and forge that chemistry, that real chemistry with the penguins. And he is the consummate professional because once he was on set, he was locked in, and it was so beautiful. I mean, from first to it didn't take a lot of takes for him to be able to turn on the emotion and what was needed to really to really pit or sort of convey the depth of that feeling and relationship with his wife and with the penguin and those around him. So but then offset, when we had meals together, he was just funny and engaging and just an amazing human being.
you know, you really sense that that he's having a connection with this flightless bird, if you will.
Right.
And it works. It works so well. I have to ask you, like I admit, okay, growing up, my favorite book was Mr. Popper's Penguins. I know they made a film about
Yeah.
that. We've always been fascinated with penguins. My kids love them. What
Yeah.
was it like working with them? Because they always say don't work with kids and animals, and dogs we hear the stories about, but a penguin, I don't know a lot of films that have dared to work with them live.
Oh, you're absolutely right. So the rules of thumb are don't work with kids, don't work with animals, and don't work with water, right? And we did all three. So we broke all the rules, and it was not easy, but it was worth it. And penguins are really fascinating because unlike dogs, they don't have a lot of expression in their faces.
Hmm.
So they're actually pretty deadpan, and a lot of their expression, all of their expression is actually expressed with their necks. So the eyes are sort of on the sides of their heads, and then they express curiosity by moving their necks around. And then we really wanted to use the sound design to help amplify natural penguin noises, and use that to sort of convey personality and character. But for us, we had a world-class penguin trainer, Fabian Gabelli, who has worked with a lot of different animals for Hollywood movies. And then we had 10 different penguins play the role of DinDim. And the penguins have different personalities, and they also are in different moods. So when you have a penguin that's not feeling particularly sociable, or doesn't really want to act that day, or can't be bribed with fish, then you go down the line. And it's also really hard to get a penguin to walk towards the ocean away from their mates, because they're very social creatures. And so there was one penguin that was quite independent minded. And anytime we needed a shot for a penguin to waddle towards the sea, we called on Maui, and he was our Tom Cruise penguin, because he was the maverick and he was more than willing to swim towards the ocean. So yeah, no, it was fascinating working with them. And I think what was beautiful is that the penguin trainers, the veterinarians, everyone, it was 24/7 care and feeding for these beautiful creatures. And so we built a penguinarium in the middle of the Brazilian jungle. We housed the penguins. We took care of them, made sure that before they went on set, we would spray the set with spray that would get rid of the bugs and insects and viruses, so that they weren't at risk of catching diseases. And so, yeah, the care and feeding of these penguins was really top notch.
That's wild. Yeah, I guess because they're in a different environment, so you have to take care of that. I never thought of that. Take care of the environmental things that could hurt them, just being in that sort of space.
Yeah,
Um,
that's right. And the good news is they're not Antarctic penguins that need cold. So these are warm weather penguins, and they're actually normally in Patagonia. And so when you see some of those scenes of the thousands of penguins in Patagonia, that's their natural habitat. And we got the 10 actor penguins from rescue aquarium. So these were 10 rescue penguins in Ubatuba, Brazil,
oh
from an
wow.
aquarium.
Okay. Wow, that's wild. It's interesting. You mentioned before about them being social creatures. And I
Yes.
wanted to touch on that a little bit here because I mean, so much of this film is about relationships. And I think one of the things that is interesting here is that we see an aspect of creation that mimics our own experience, which is the need for community, the need for a home.
Mhm.
I was wondering if in your mind, what makes a home, and do you think that everything needs a community like this? Like we don't really think about penguins as needing some sort of relationship like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, this is really a movie about the broader theme of stewardship, and just really
Mm.
a call for us to be wise stewards of this beautiful planet and the inhabitants that are in it, including each other. And so just
Yeah.
being able to take care of each other better. And so it's really about kindness, love, friendship, and that power of those elements to overcome loss and brokenness. And so yeah, even penguins need communities. And when you see them in their natural habitat in Patagonia, it's just beautiful. You see the nests, and mommy penguin and daddy penguin, they take turns watching the chicks, and then going out and fishing. And what I love about penguins too is that they're pair bonding species. So once they mate, they mate for life.
Mm.
And we actually, so two of the 10 penguins on set fell in love, and they were useless. We couldn't use them because they just stood back to back, and they couldn't act. They would just stare off in the distance. So that is a picture of relationship and community, if ever I've seen one.
You were, you're helping the next generation of the penguin community right there. I mean, that's just
Hey, there you go.
penguin
Exactly.
romance.
Penguin family.
You know, I have to. I feel like I need to ask too. Offshooting of this, because this film beautifully draws parallel, of course, between is it Joao, the gentleman,
Wow. Yes, that's
Joao,
right.
Joao, the loss of his son, with his relationship with this penguin, and I know, like from personal experience, not with penguins, but in times when I went through a very deep depression, my dog just wouldn't leave me alone. There was
Mm.
a genuine relationship there that seemed to help heal. And I was wondering, do you think, like you said, so much of this is about stewardship and care and relationships, that our animal friends can help us in a time of need, and how they do that?
Yeah, I mean, God, our creator, made this beautiful earth, made all of us, made humans, imago Dei, in his image. And there's something about animals that they instinctively sense. I mean, we have a dog who just knows instinctively how we're feeling. And, when any of our family members are down, Bennett comes up and just somehow senses that. And so, yeah, it was, I don't know whether penguins really feel that way or sense that, but we really wanted to capture that intuitive nature of, or instinctive nature of the animal kingdom. And in this case, the emotional stakes and the emotional table was set with the initial loss, and then you could really just feel Joao's depth of emotion there, and loss, and then that void gets filled with the beautiful friendship, love, kindness, relationship that emerges from that. So yeah, I think there's something there in the animal kingdom that I don't fully understand. I don't think any of us do, but we feel it because, I think God set that up somehow.
It. I don't want to say too many things about the film, but there's a simple scene where he's cutting the hat and puts it on the penguin just to care for it, and it's such a tender moment, and
Yeah.
got me the feels more than I expected. I was, oh,
That
oh
gets me every time.
like, that's beautiful. Anyway,
Yeah.
um, Jonathan, the film's a true joy. Like it is just absolutely wonderful. What do you hope people take away from My Penguin Friend?
I think you know, this call for stewardship, this call to be kind and loving to those around us. And then it's really a call for community and a shared experience. So we really wanted this to be a theatrical release. And we're so grateful to our partners. Roadside Attractions really has taken this leap of faith to distribute this for us. And then the international team, led by David Sherman, our fearless director, and Steve Wagner, and the rest of the producer team. It's really just a team effort through and through, and really an international, diverse team. And so I just want people to understand that, you know, the theatrical experience is really important. And unfortunately, there's a lot of comic book reboots, which I love, by the way. So this is not an indictment against that, but you don't see a lot of films like this. So when this comes out in theaters on August 16th, I would love to see as many people mobilized to go and see the movie, not just because I love the movie, but also it's a way to bring people together with families and friends to have that shared experience and to watch it together and then process it later. And we just don't have enough of those opportunities these days. And so I think that's what I'd love for people to take away is, hey, let's go see something really cool that can be enjoyed by audiences of all ages. And then let's have that shared experience and have a nice reminder of the call to stewardship, but in a really entertaining way.
And you know what? That actually ties in beautifully to the film itself. This need to be together.
Yes.
Absolutely. Honestly, Jonathan, I wish you the best. Thank you so much for your time. The film is
Thank you, Steve. I'm so glad you enjoyed the film and really appreciate your time today.
I appreciate that. Have a great day.